I want to get a little bit into you more. You worked as a project manager in trust and safety at both Microsoft and Meta. Tell us a little bit more about these experiences, and do you feel these companies are safer today?
Oof, hard to say whether or not they're safer today, especially due to the incorporation of artificial intelligence. I mean, artificial intelligence, it has been used for a while in these companies. It's nothing new, but now the executives are embracing it more. So it's hard to say whether or not they're safer. Yeah, I worked there. I worked at Meta for almost 2 years. I worked at Microsoft for a few months and had the opportunity to see cutting edge technology up front and really enjoy my time in the trust and safety org, which is about protecting people, protecting users, defending the good and trying to minimize the bad.
Is that where integrity workers come from? What is an integrity worker? And do you identify as one?
Yes, I identify as an integrity worker. Integrity is an umbrella term for so many things. There is the operations side where people literally work to take down violating content from platforms so that it doesn't reach audiences. It's also policy. What content is allowed to go into the platforms and what content is absolutely not allowed to go into the platforms. Integrity is like this invisible labor force where, you go on Facebook or Instagram and you scroll down and you see things that you're interested in and you see some things that you're not interested in. But for the most part, it's safe. You feel safe. That's thanks to the integrity workforce. And that includes policy, that includes even privacy, that's operations and content moderation. So the way I see it is we're kind of like the bouncers. Like when you go to a club, the bouncer lets people in so that they can connect with others, they can meet people, they can have a good time. But the bouncers are also responsible for stopping troublemakers from coming in. Or if there's any issue inside, they're responsible for kicking out whoever is making trouble, ensuring that everyone is having a good time, but also following the rules and mitigating any risk, mitigating any problems or any issues that can come up. So that's how I can describe integrity work in the simplest terms.
Why are integrity workers and ethicists important to the development of AI? And how are they mitigating, or how are you guys mitigating risk?
If we leave the work up to just like the data scientists and the engineers and the machine learning engineers, something is going to be missed. Not because they don't care. Of course they care. And everyone has the best intentions and they want to do right by people. But ethicists go deeper and they look into the human element and they look at it from a risk management perspective. Like, what is this going to cost humanity? How is this going to be felt by this specific community? How is this going to affect women more than men? How is this going to affect working class people more than the 1%? That's their job. And it's not just like a secondary thought. Because the engineers have their work cut out for them, data scientists have their work cut out for them. But an ethics officer is more concerned with the human element, the human cost, with equity, with fairness, with the pros and cons of an AI technology. Same goes for integrity workers. Integrity workers are making sure that, that this group is not being marginalized even more by this technology, or that this violating content is not passing through to the audience.
Either you or in one of the reports, it was recommended that executives need to invest in an integrity workforce. If you were to urge executives today to do something, what would you tell them to do?
To invest in an integrity workforce, to actually invest and not penny pinch, because I think an integrity workforce early on will pay dividends in terms of avoiding reputational damage or avoiding customer distrust and just keeping your customers happy or avoiding fines from the government or from regulators. It can't be in one department. You can't just put it in, let's say, HR or operations. It has to be something that is in the executive department and have executive buy-in and support. And it has to influence, it has to trickle down to the whole organization. Because if you're using AI for HR, that's one department. But what if your procurement department is also using AI or contracting third-party vendors who are using AI? You can't isolate it to one department and call it a day. And you have to be able to speak to it from a whole of company. And if something bad happens in your engineering department because of AI, it can also happen in HR. It can happen in procurement. It can happen in operations. It can happen in privacy. It can happen anywhere. So don't isolate the problem. You can't isolate AI.
Yeah. 8-9 years ago when I was at Viacom, I was sitting in the middle between production, operations, and technology. And we were playing around with AI back then, but nobody else that I knew of was. I'm sure other departments were, but none of us were talking to each other. That's how it is in those big companies. Nobody ever talks to each other. I definitely think that the role of an integrity worker is so essential, and more people need to know about you, what you do, and the need for this to be inside an organization. I know in some of your writings, you talk about how the tech entrepreneurs and the big companies are talking about the 10 best ways you can use AI today. If you're not using AI today, you are left behind, you're dead. So there's so many loud voices out there just trying to mask the harms. And then they're preventing integrity workers like you from doing your job because they're moving so fast and the technology is moving so fast and they're deploying new AIs that are just doing a lot of stuff and hurting us more than helping us right now.
Yeah. So there was one venture capitalist who said that AI is going to save us all. It's going to save the world. Right?
Andreessen.
I really like him and his ideas, but I just thought that that was so out of touch. First of all, AI is not going to save us all because AI is a technology, and technology is a tool, and it's something that is controlled by us, at least for now. And humans, we are imperfect beings. We have all the technology and all the resources that we need to save the world. Let's say to stop climate change or to give every child an education, and we're not doing it. So just because there is this new technology that is very powerful, it doesn't mean that this technology is going to save us. Mm-hmm. We have the power to tell the technology to save us, but are we going to do it? Or are we going to use it to enrich ourselves more and leave 90% of other humans behind? Mm-hmm. So it's just so simplistic to say that AI is going to save us all. It's completely ridiculous.
What other concerns do you foresee with AI?
On the same vein, like with that article that Mr. Anderson wrote, he said we should move as fast as possible and with no regulations whatsoever. And that is just completely irresponsible to say, because what do you mean? Like the biggest people in AI are calling for regulation. So what do you mean don't regulate it? Like that's completely outrageous. You have these tools where you can create a deep fake in a few hours. You can spread misinformation, fake images. So that's a huge thing. There's already not enough people in the cybersecurity industry, right? There's like 500,000 jobs that are not filled, right? With AI, you can mass produced stuff at a rapid pace. How do you keep up with these things? We're not ready. We're just not ready. Content moderation. Anyone can just go to ChatGPT and type one sentence and it can give you a whole blog post. It may be poor quality, it may be violating, but the scale is insane. So we don't have enough manpower to moderate all of the things that ChatGPT can produce in a second.